Okay, still in section 10 of the first essay. Let's look a little deeper at the masters at this point, because we've been talking a lot about the slaves. The slaves are characterized by resentment. But here he's going to describe on page 39 what the master's attitude is like. Perhaps, he says, a bold recklessness, whether in the face of danger of the enemy or that of an enthusiastic impulsiveness in anger, love, reverence, gratitude, and revenge, by which noble souls have at all times recognized one another. Resentment itself, if it should appear in the noble man, consummates and exhausts itself in an immediate reaction, and therefore does not poison. On the other hand, it fails to appear at all on countless occasions on which it inevitably appears in the weak and impotent. So right there he's not saying that if you feel anger or if you feel revenge or resentment that you're somehow weak. He's saying the difference between a master and slave is what you do with it. Do you let it fester or do you take immediate reaction? Now, for the main reason slaves or the slave morality don't take reaction against when they feel this is because they can't. But Nietzsche is saying everyone's human, so it's not as though people in a high-powered position or masters or noble people, whatever, don't feel these negative emotions. They do, of course, but they immediately discharge. They immediately exhaust themselves. Another kind of Freudian element to Nietzsche, that this discharge of psychic energy happens almost immediately with masters. That is, it doesn't allow itself to become poison. What's poison? Resentment. This festering resentment that becomes creative and denies life. Masters affirm life precisely because they don't allow themselves to be poisoned with resentment. Okay? Everyone feels resentment. It's just what you do with it. He continues on 39, to be incapable of taking one's enemies, one's accidents, even one's misdeeds seriously for very long. That is the sign of strong, full natures in whom there is an excess of the power to form, to mold, to recuperate, and to forget. Such a man shakes off with a single shrug many vermin that eat deep into others. Here alone genuine love of enemies is possible, supposing it to be possible at all on earth. How much reverence has a noble man for his enemies? And such reverence is a bridge to love. So what he's saying is that if the Christian conception of love of enemies, Jesus says, love your enemies and do good to those who hate you, turn the other cheek, go the other mile, give, when someone wants your shirt, give them everything. If that's possible at all, it's only possible out of an attitude of absolute overflow of power, overflow of life. You are carefree, you don't care. I remember when I was reading the 6th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, where Jesus talks about this, and he says, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who are spiteful toward you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, offer the other also. If they take away your goods, don't ask for them back. Give and do good to everyone. Don't care, and then you'll be like your Father in heaven. I remember the first time I read that, I thought, wow, if that were possible, one would have to just not care. One would have to be completely carefree. Now, interestingly, that's exactly what he's saying the attitude of the master is. So there's a kind of weird Christianity or Christian psychology to Nietzsche here. That is, that you don't allow yourself to be poisoned by resentment. Instead, you forgive. But how is forgiveness possible? It's by not taking it seriously. There's a kind of carefreeness here. It's by affirming and accepting reality, forgiving, and not holding on and clinging to things, Nietzsche's saying. So that's what distinguishes the master or the noble morality from the slave morality, namely carefree, forgiveness, if you want to put it that way. Nietzsche wouldn't put it that way because he realizes the Christian connotations of it. But nevertheless, I think we can put it there. Put it that way. To be incapable of taking one's enemies or life seriously. This is the idea. Do you ever hear people say this? You take things too seriously. I think Nietzsche would say that. Western morality has taken itself too seriously.